Hey everybody, welcome back to Turn Bark Time. I'm the Turn,
I'm the Bark.
and we have been here a long time because this is season 5, episode 6, 3 and 3. Welcome back, everybody. We are just enjoying ourselves and kind of a fun topic to talk about today. I'm going to introduce this one because this one kind of came across my plate. My wife and I, although we are not 50, 60 years old, we do enjoy every night sitting in front of the television and watching Jeopardy and Wheel of Fortune. And this question came across my Jeopardy. It was awards and honors was the category. And the question was awarded from 1912, and Barker, correct me on the end date here, to 1948, I believe. Am I wrong on that one?
Some stuff says 52, but I think when I looked at the list, 48 was the last year they awarded awards.
Okay. So this gentleman, it was a specific gentleman, won one for literature, or holds one for literature. And my wife and I turned and looked at each other and we're like, an award that was only awarded for 35-ish years, no idea. And it turns out that gentleman won an Olympic gold medal for literature. So needless to say, when things like this pop up in my life, I go digging. And we have uncovered that the modern Olympic Games used to hand out awards in 5 categories. Or is it 6? I think it's 5.
I think it's 5, yeah.
5 categories in the arts. And they claim that it is what made the Olympics unique. So, without further ado, this is the Olympics of Arts.
Yeah, so according to research, they handed out 151 medals over the course of, what is it? That's 4 decades, I guess, right?
Yeah, roughly. Yep.
But that's not even accurate because there was a couple of world wars that got in the way that kind of disrupted stuff. So believe it or not, world wars prevent the Olympics from happening. And I think we've covered that in other episodes.
When we talk about sports,
talked about sports and Olympics and stuff and the disruptions in sports.
Yes, that's right. Because it was
Go back to season 1. That's a
long time ago.
It was a long time ago. But yeah, so apparently the Baron Pierre de Coubertin, who is the founder of the International Olympic Commission or whatever it is.
Committee, right?
Huh?
Committee? The Olympic Committee, or is it commission?
It's a 3-letter acronym. I think there's an I, an O, and a C.
Okay.
I think. I don't know. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
It'd be like the Dutch East India Company, which is VOC, which makes no sense, but that's Zero Dutch.
By the way, I'm sorry I had to interrupt you, sir, but I just need you to know that reference to History of Sports Interruptions was season 1, episode 9. If you dig way back into our archive.
Whoop, whoop.
3 years ago with 77 views. So if you guys want to bump that video up to 100, that'd be great.
Yes. So yeah, Mr. Coubertin, I apologize for my poor pronunciation of French. If you have me as a teacher, you know how much I love to pronounce words in French. Because the letters don't make the right sounds.
But that's part of the fun.
Yes, I've never taken French class. Maybe I should. But I can recognize French words when I see them.
They end in U.
Go Tigers. So the first time, I think it was in Stockholm, 1912 was the first time they awarded a gold medal in arts. We both read the same Smithsonian article, I think, where it talked about there was an American sharpshooter.
Yeah.
Who had just won in 1908. He won a gold medal, and in 1912 he won a silver medal in target shooting. But he also wins a gold medal in 1912 in sculpture.
Yes.
For the for a piece titled "An American Trotter." It's a 20-inch bronze statue of a horse pulling a man. The description that I read online said a chariot. It is not a chariot.
It's
It
not
is. I'm trying to think what the name of that kind of. It's the same kind of like horse race that like what's his name? Jokic is like into.
It's the oh, I know it. Yeah, I'm not gonna remember. Nope, I'm not gonna remember.
Calling it a chariot, calling it a wagon is it's an axle with a seat.
Yeah, basically.
It's the original NASCAR.
Yeah. What was really cool though, is just side note before you go into it, is actually when this started, it happens in Stockholm in 1912 because the previous 3 Olympics would not allow arts. The people were like, nope. And I believe one of them is actually in the United States. I believe one of them is in St. Louis. And they say no. And his big argument about this was that the Olympics are no different than any other sports championship unless you bring in the arts, because he said that's what tied it. Because and I'm Brucker again, you dig really well. In ancient Greece, where the Olympics are from, arts were one of the contests. And so he wanted that tie brought back into it to be able to say, look, like this is what makes the Olympics unique compared to just, any other sport.
Yeah. And it's not quite a success right at the beginning. There was 33 entries across those 5 categories.
Oh, we haven't covered the 5 categories, have we?
We did. I think we kind of we said that there was 5. I guess.
Architecture, sculpture, painting, literature, and music are the 5 categories.
Well, sometimes there was more, sometimes there was less. So like literature broke into 3 separate categories in 1928, was 1 category in 1932, and then in 1936 was 3 categories again.
There you go.
So like it goes from 30 entries to, I think when was it 32, it's in LA. The Olympics are in LA in 32. There's like thousands of entries. So it really depended on the year and the venue that was hosting it.
Yep.
Yeah, and so like the America's won 4 gold medals in the arts. I don't know if I dove down in there, and these medals do not count when they show you the historical medal count.
Yeah.
At the Olympics, they went back and disallowed like every medal for the arts. They don't count. I don't know.
Or at least like put like a sidebar of it, right? Like the number will never change, but just let them have the sidebar of who won the Olympic art medals.
Yeah, and it's interesting. There's only been 1 English language book written about these events, and that's by Richard Stanton, The Forgotten Olympic Art Competitions.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was really interesting. 1 person in English has written a book about it. Like, we think about, there's so much history out there.
Yeah,
this is like one of those stories that like nobody's written about yet. So Coubertin, we talked about this and kind of laughed about it. In the first Olympics, the guy who runs the Olympics wins. Today it would be a scandal.
Oh, it'd be huge. It'd be terrible.
He wins a gold medal and all of the art has to be inspired by sport or sport related.
Yes.
So he wrote something called the Ode to Sport, and he wrote it under a pseudonym, which means he wrote it under a fake name. Actually, wrote it under 2 fake names.
Yeah, which is
wrote it under the name George Harrod and Martin Eschbach.
Yep.
And won his own contest. I mean, it's just like the other night they were making comments about President Trump or former President Trump winning a golf tournament at his own golf course.
Yeah.
So it's kind of in the same vein.
It's funny though, because the reason he entered it was because, like Barker said, there were only 33 entries. And so he was like, I didn't think there were enough, so I added 1 because he wanted more. And he ended up winning because and by the way, nobody ever knew it was him who wrote under it, like the people who were scoring it. So that's pretty interesting.
Yeah. And then when Turner introduced this topic, he mentioned that like some years the scoring was really inconsistent.
Yes.
Sometimes they would award a silver medal, but no gold medal.
Mm-hmm.
Other years they decided to not award any medals.
Yeah, you weren't good
Anybody?
enough to win a
Yeah.
medal.
So it's really really interesting how open ended it was. And then I was looking at the other names of so like the other outside of Walter Winnes, who wins in 1912. The other three gold medalists from the United States all win in 1932 at LA.
I wonder why.
Yeah. Lee Blair has a drawing slash watercolor called the Rodeo, and I'll put up a black and white photo of it because the actual painting, a gold medal winning painting, nobody knows where it is.
Of course. Barker, that's our way we're going to make money. We go on a mission. Track it down. It's at some Goodwill right now.
Yeah. One of the other gold medal winners was I don't know how to pronounce this because I've never seen it. Mahanri Young.
Okay.
He is the grandson of Brigham Young.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, there you go.
And he's a sculptor.
Okay.
And he has a bronze sculpture called the Knockout.
Boxing?
Yes. It's been dedicated. It's been given somewhere, donated somewhere. That piece is found and available. Okay. It's out of the American Trotter is in a museum somewhere. We know where it's at. The two sculptures, like we know where they're at. The other guys that did. So the third person is Joseph, and I'm the Lincoln.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was like a sketch. It's called Leg Scissors, and then I Googled his work and could not. I'm going to do my best. I'll put up the one that I think it is. But again, nobody has a list of like gold medal art and has the actual, like, even on Wikipedia, they don't have the actual images of the art that won gold medals. This guy's really interesting though. He's a former naval. He was a naval commander.
Okay.
Got out of the Navy, and then became an artist and did a lot of sketching of boxing in New York City.
Yeah.
And if you guys are kind of history buffs or have taken American studies from me, I love to show Cinderella Man.
Yeah.
With James Braddock, boxing in New York City. And Joseph Galinkin actually has sketches of Joe Louis, James Braddock, the bear, kind of the bad guy in that film.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he actually went and did that and like sketched these boxing matches, and then he was a reserve admiral and was re-enlisted into the Navy for World War II.
Oh, okay.
But again, his work is really kind of hard to find and hard to nail down. Like, you would think like this won a gold medal at an Olympics.
Yeah.
In America, we should have a photograph
somewhere.
We don't. And like, even like their Wikipedia articles, like there are people like the frickin' dancing shark from like 2 Super Bowls ago probably has a longer Wikipedia page than some of these Olympic gold medal artists, which is just crazy to me.
Yep.
And because of the arts, it actually is the oldest person to ever win a gold medal.
That was my favorite story of this whole thing.
73-year-old guy from Britain, John Copley.
Copley is what I was going to say, yeah. Won one of the last awards. So
yeah, and I mean, and again, I'll put the art up right now. It to me, I don't know. I see our kids are making some pretty fire stuff right now. I was actually shown one of my world history kids is in art, and she's making. They do portraits of teachers every year.
Oh, nice.
And so Lee Anthony, it's on point.
Love it. You're looking good, huh?
Yeah, she's making me look good. So
Did you go with the Napoleonic? Did you go with the hand in the shirt?
It's just a face.
Oh, okay.
So, but she's doing a good job. I was very impressed. She was hesitant to show me, and her friends convinced her. And yeah, being a former art major, it's good stuff.
Love that.
Now the arts go away because an American, Avery Brundage.
Yep.
Brundage. I don't know.
I said Brundage just because that sounds really American.
Yeah. He takes over in the 1940s. He disagrees with art being used in the Olympics because the Olympics is supposed to be an amateur competition.
Right.
And he feels that by putting their art on display and winning awards, it is, in a way, advertisement for their art.
Right. And they they sell their stuff to
allowing the artist to advertise and make more money off of their products. And so he actually got an honorable mention in literature in 1932.
Yeah, and that's probably why he's just bitter.
So yeah, like after the I think it's the 48 Olympics, he pushes and says, no, we're not going to give awards anymore. Yeah. And so what happens is art is still associated with the Olympics for a while, but instead of doing a competition, it's just a gallery a display.
Yeah, exhibition.
Exhibition. Thank you.
Called I think they call it the Cultural Olympiad, I think is what that article said. So, but yeah, it's really like fascinating though, because it's like, wouldn't it be, I mean, and I guess I looked at it from a standpoint of like a viewer, right? Like it's one of those, could you imagine if we had arts today, right? Could you imagine like if we could sit there and listen to like pieces of music, right? Or you could go through and read, this is the Olympic gold medal winning book, in literature or one of the subsets of literature. This is the piece of music. Like, I'm just thinking of like what artists today would put up, right? And Justin Bieber wins the gold. Canada's so proud. Related. What?
Have to be sports related though.
Yeah, but you could still make a rap about, there's raps about sports, right? Like you drop names in sports all the time and actions, right? Like even if not alliterative was not the word I was looking for, figurative language that's used in like sports, using sports analogies for the different types of things, right? But like, it would be interesting, right? Like, and then what other categories could you add? Could you add dance, right? Could you add, that kind of, like, I'm trying, what else could you add? I don't even know.
Well, like computer design, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
There's so many caveats to it now where it would be really fragmented.
Yeah.
And I think this is kind of a little bit off the reservation, but
signed up for Turnbark time.
it makes me think about, and I've kind of rhetorically asked this to my students. One of the Pandora's box that's been opened is AI.
Oh.
So is it AI music? Is it AI art? Is AI art art? Who is the owner of AI art? Is it the person that coded the AI? So do they own all of the art that their AI creates?
Are you asking this question?
No. I'm just, but it's these are things that, this is one of my wonder bugs that I feed.
No, I'm a firm believer that it's because so you code the artificial intelligence tool to gather information and then take a guess based on patterns and predictions of what to do. So in my mind, it's owned by the person who coded it. Like, even if I ask it the prompt, there's so many other people that asked the prompts before me that helped build whatever it produced for me. So that would be mine. I don't know, but we're getting to that point, that we can use that tool for a lot of stuff. So, but yeah,
it just makes me wonder about that. So like, and thinking about the Olympics, does the Olympics always kind of change over time? Like,
we're adding so many sports. We're adding football.
At some point, will esports get into the Olympics?
They should. Why not?
It's becoming more, scholarships are being awarded for people who are good at esports. Why not? Like skateboarding's still in the Olympics, I believe, right?
I believe so. And we're adding flag football, which again, I cannot wait. Just because American football players, like, it's the sport, like, the world doesn't give a crap about their ad. So, but now we're going to add that. Like, that's going to be hilarious. Could you imagine someone trying to catch Tyreek Hill? Like, and cover him? Right? Like, And I know it's not tackle football, but it's like, could you imagine like Aaron Donald like trying to block him in flag football? Like, so it'll be fun. But yeah, it's an ever evolving thing, and that's why I kind of like about it. Like it just develops the world. And I mean, we have Paris here in what, a couple of months. I think it's in June or July. I think it's in July, August. Hey Google, when are the Paris Olympics?
The 2024 summer.
Perfect. Thank you, Google. July 26th is the opening date, so it'll be August. But
There you go.
it'll be interesting. Like it'll be cool to see like that kind of stuff. So, but yeah, we stumbled across it. So much fun, like to do. And Bart, do you have anything to add? Sorry, I keep jumping like we're.
One of the more kind of off-putting things about this topic, as I was looking through the countries that won, is that the Germany that wins during this time period is Nazi Germany. So they've kept the flag that way, and it's really interesting. It's a really interesting time period where I think probably more should be written about it in English, where there probably was a lot of undertones of trying to prove who was the best, and like maybe going back and looking, there probably wasn't a lot of representation of people of color or artists of color.
No.
And definitely I would say that I think the Olympics still kind of have that bias that it's mostly European, or first world nations that compete because they can afford to do these things.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of this like it's in a way kind of like the Masters, right? Like it's this old boys club.
Yeah.
Where there's a lot of art that's not going to be like, who gets to judge what art, and I asked my students this a while back, like what makes art good?
Yeah.
It's very much on the beauties in the eye of the beholder. And so there's a lot of art that probably was not appreciated properly or was not even submitted
Yeah.
during the time period because it was not considered quote unquote art at the time. So I mean, I think it's definitely worth some consideration to look at, just because I think art has so many different movements that have come through it that it would be probably a really interesting. I would love to go.
Well, Bark, let's see. Just a quick quiz for you. What are the top 5 medal winners in the arts? What country, not people, but countries. What are the top 5 countries in total medals won in the arts?
That have all been stripped now.
Sorry,
I think
not top 5, but we'll do top 3. Top 3.
Number 1, Germany.
Yep, 24.
Number 2, I'm gonna guess Great Britain.
No, Great Britain is not in the top 3. They are in the top 6. They are 6th.
France.
France is number 3 with 13 medals. This country has 14.
Italy.
Italy is Italy. Good job.
Well, that makes sense because
where's the United States fall?
United States.
They are in the top 10.
Okay, I was gonna say we're top 10. I was gonna say
they're in the top 10.
I was trying to think. I think the last one I was looking at the lowest on the list was like Malta or somebody, but
they've won.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I looked at that.
Monaco. Monaco is the one that.
Monaco. My bad.
Yeah,
the
United
red,
States
white,
is 7th.
Smallest.
And it's technically, I shouldn't even say it's 7th. It's the United States, Great Britain, Denmark, and Austria are all tied for 4th with 9.
Yeah. How many African countries or South American countries are in the top 10?
0.
Asiatic countries.
Oh, okay. Asiatic 2, still 0. There's only one country from Asia that is on this list. Would you like to guess?
From Asia.
Yep, one Asian country, and there's one Asian and one African country. Those are the 2.
Egypt?
Nope.
China?
Nope.
And I do realize that my first guess was for the Africa, and the second one was for Asia. Yep. For the audience out there who doesn't think that I know the difference.
So, and these 2 countries, so one from Africa, one from Asia, each have 2 medals.
Japan.
Japan is the Asian country.
squishing the noodle upstairs, man.
Let me know if you want a hint.
Give me like a subsection of Africa.
Subsection of Africa?
Like north, south, west.
Followed by east. I'll say, yeah, it's in the south.
Is it South Africa?
It is South Africa.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which, because my hint was going to be, it has European ties, which I know is also a lot of countries in Africa, but that one jumps out a little bit further.
Probably one of the whitest countries in Africa.
Yep. And the three countries tied with one, Greece, Monaco, and Norway, each have one. So,
yeah. So I mean, I rest my case.
Yes. Again, and let's see. I'm curious what Japan's medal was in. Medal tables. That's not going to help me at all. Medals by summer sport, medals by winter sport. Yeah, it's not going to give it to me. Oh well. But I digress. So really cool, like kind of a random category. We enjoyed it a lot, actually. It was really fun to kind of break this one down and take a look at all of these winners and how they did. You know, it's crazy to think about these different ones. I'm still trying to find Japan's winner because I'm gonna find it.
Take a minute.
It's really funny because just all these. So if you ever go look at the Wikipedia page, what's fascinating about it is there's so many that are just none awarded. But like Barker said, there's one like a guy will have a silver medal and it'll be like none awarded. I'm like, what? He didn't do good enough he did better than a bronze, but not good enough to win good enough to win a gold. Okay, Japan's was in drawing and watercolors was their first one. And their second was in painting. So the painting was awarded in Berlin. It was called ice hockey. And then the drawing and watercolor was a classical horse racing in Japan. What's the name of that? And I'm going to say it's Sujaku Suzuki. It was the winner of the drawing. And the winner of the painting was, oh boy, I'm going to say Ryuji Fujita. Yeah, I'm going to go with that. Probably wrong, and I apologize. My Japanese is not good at all. So, but yeah, a really cool topic. Like I said, we'll drop some polls and stuff like that tomorrow on our Instagram page, and then we'll end it with a couple of topics for you guys to vote on, and open up another one for suggestions. So, because we have a couple of topics that we've been thinking about, but it's been awesome. So, Bark, anything else before we sign off for this one?
Just keep drawing.
Yes, just keep drawing. Love it. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Until next time, I'm the Turn.
I'm the Bark.
And we've been here a long time. Have a good night, everybody.
Be safe.
And by golly, you just be well.